Hello everybody, hopefully everyone is having a lovely day, and today we'll be going over our new favorite furry hunter, Hertzier. So let's get to it. Alright, let's start with his passive Bestial Awakening, which is when he becomes a beast and he gains sensory overload and can detect survivors within 36 to 48 meters. Using any ability like basic attacks, breaking pallets, or similar actions will make him switch into this beast form for about 8 seconds. Alright, next we got Mark of the Prey, which it activates when Herztier hits a survivor with his Lunge ability or basic attack, marking them for 40 seconds, and if the survivor gets Lunge or basic attack again, they will deal additional 50% of normal attack damage. The mark is removed after triggering twice. Alright, let's move into one of his abilities, Lunge. When used, he lunges forward into a straight line for 7 meters. You can hold the ability to charge and it will launch farther up to 14 meters. Next on our list, we go with Shred, which is our basic attack and has 2 stages. First one is Punce, where he leaps and attacks on the way down, and this attack deals no damage and has no additional hit recovery. If he attacks again within 4.5 seconds, he will perform Intercept, dealing 50% of normal attack damage. Alright, next we got Heightened Senses, which you get when you hit your first presence. When used, it can detect survivors within 30 meters and making them leave a trail at the location that they're standing, and will leave another one every 20 seconds, up to 3 trails. Each trail lasts 30 seconds, and when Hertzier steps into one of the trails, his movement speed increases by 10%, which is when he gets in his 4 legs. Launch and Pounce becomes faster, and launch ability cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds. Lastly, his third presence is Mark of the Prey, which makes the maximum number of Marks of the Prey stack increase from 2 to 3. Okay, so if we're talking about builds, I mean, you can do whatever you want technically, but in my own opinion, I do think he needs to get his presence as quick as possible. So this is an example of the build that I like. I do like Tipping Point, for the chip damage. It can become a full damage, especially once the last cipher gets popped and everything. After that, something like Insolence obviously will help you get your first presence faster, so that way he can get that speed boost. Constraint is great since his early game is very slow, since you might not be able to get that damage really quick, so that's gonna help you. Hunt will help you get that extra speed when you're trying to catch the survivor, since his walking speed is very slow. And I think Impulsive is a nice little add, especially for that launch or the basic attack when you pounce. All right. One thing I like to add is that if someone is a coding and you do your basic attack, like your pounce on them, they will get Terror Shock, but they will not go down. They will just take a half a damage, which is still pretty solid, since you're closer to get that first presence, right? Something I want to add that with Pounce, you can actually jump over a lot of different items. Usually it's 1 to 2 stacks, height-wise. If you charge your Pounce, you can actually jump taller items like in here. For example, you charge and you're able to get over this part, right? Letting you have a stronger chase in this case. Something else about Pounce is that we noticed that if the survivor is right in the middle of the pallet, like touching it physically, Pounce sometimes will not be able to jump on the other side, which is pretty interesting. So sometimes it will let you, but most of the time will not let you, as you can see here in this video. If the survivor is right in the middle and touching the pallet, it will not be able to pass most of the time. Some concerns that a lot of players are having is that he might actually be difficult to Kite, but he actually has a lot of survivors that he will struggle against, like Batter, Wilding, Gravekeeper, and others. Main reason is because his abilities move in a straight line. One thing you should not do against him is stay in open spaces. The best way to kite him is by kiting in areas with windows, sharp corners, tall walls. Since his walking speed is very slow compared to other hunters, it will be very hard for him to catch up to you if you're just moving around in different areas, like where there's a lot of walls and sharp corners. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you liked the tutorial, leave a comment, follow, subscribe, and let me know what survivor hunter you would like to see in the future tutorial on. But then I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.